Hi guys, today we are going to learn how to create an iSCSI LUN on a storage system NetApp and attach it as a driver on the Windows system. So before creating the lab, we have to create one Windows Server 2012 R2 with basic roles and features installed in it, and the Windows machine, which is given as the client one here, and also need to install a data on tap machine where we are using to configure the NetApp storage system. So in the client machine, we have created one on command management system to manage our NetApp storage system, and the server we have installed the basic features as you can see here, the roles. And now let's get back into the lab. Before starting, we need to check the iSCSI status through the data on time machine, and also enable the license if we got the license key, and also start the iSCSI to start configuring. So let's check the status in our data on tab. By the command iSCSI status, you can check the status. Here we can see the iSCSI service is already running, and if it's not running, just use the start command, and after starting, go back to your on tab manage system and check the status. From the configuration option, you can see the protocols and iSCSI. I have selected it, and I can see the iSCSI service is running right now and it's showing a green signal, so it means iSCSI is on now. So let's get back into the server. After the iSCSI started, we need to configure iSCSI on our Windows server. So in the dashboard, from the tools option, you can select iSCSI initiator here. It will be appeared there, and you can go to the configuration and see the initiator name here. We need to copy this name because we are going to use it for creating the LUN later in our on-tap manager. So I have copied it to a sticky note here, and it's up to you. You can save it in Notepad somewhere, because make sure that you need it before, so you should keep it safe somewhere, and it's the correct one. So get back to the discovery here. From the discovery, as I have already connected, is shown here. Otherwise, click on the discovery portal, and you can see the option to enter the IP address or DNS name and the default port. Keep the port the same and enter the IP address. This IP address is the IP address that you have given for your NetApp storage system to access. We have already given E0A, E0B, E0C and D. So this is the address of E0A which I use to connect with my storage system. And click the advanced button here, and the local adapter, select Microsoft iSCSI initiator and initiator IP, select the first one. So once you complete these steps, just click OK and click OK here. So once you got connected here, go back to the targets. Here you can see the connect option. Just click on connect and enable multipath. Click advanced, select Microsoft iSCSI initiator and the first one like we did before, and just click OK to connect it with. As I have already connected, I am not repeating the same, it may get some errors. So once it get connected, you can see the initiator name here and the status as connected. That means the iSCSI configuration is done properly in the server. So now let's get back into our lab. We have completed the iSCSI configuration steps. So once you complete the iSCSI configuration, we need to get back into the system manager to create our LUNs. In this lab, we are going to create two LUNs in our data on the management system. So here, from the storage, we can see the volumes, aggregates, queue trees, LUNs and everything listed here. I have already created the aggregate and volumes. So let's get into the LUNs. I have already created 2 LUNs here, so I will show you how to create the LUNs. Just click on the create option here and you will get a LUN wizard. So just click next. Here we get the option to enter the LUN name and description. You can just give some random names. I have given like LUN 1 and description as LUN 4 iSCSI initiator. So we have to select Windows 8 or later, because if we use Linux or something we can only install Linux. So it's better to use Windows 8, which is user friendly and easy for us to configure. So it will ask for the size, as I have given the size as 4 GB, because when you give the size you should be aware of your aggregate total size and your volume's total size. So it should be below the aggregate size, so I just give 4 GB here and click next. So here's an option to select your aggregate and volume name. You can create a new volume here, or you can select from the existing one. So it's showing this error message because the volume name is already existing, so I just named it as LUN 1 volume 2 and click next. So here I already got one option because I have created one initiator group here, so I got the option to select this one or add a new one. So add initiator group. So here you can see is selected as iSCSI. Type and general is asking for the name, which is name of the initiator that we have copied before in our node. So this is the name that we got from our server. So just copy this name and paste it here. So you can select the operating system. This Windows, we have already selected Windows, just iSCSI, then go to initiators and you can add new initiator. In the name field you just paste the same name and click OK. So it will be added there. Just select it and go to general. You can select this one and click create. It's already existing, that's what they are. So it will create like this. So just select that one and click next. So this will show the summary of your LUN that you are creating. It will list all the details that you have entered. So just click next and finish. So the LUN will be created here, and similarly you can create the LUN 2. I have created 2 LUNs with this volume names and the total size of 4 GB each, because I was planning to give 8 GB in total and reserve for my LUNs. So once the LUNs are created, we need to go back to our server and see that our LUNs are listed there. So just get back to our lab. We have completed this lab session by creating the LUNs. So now we need to access our LUNs from our Windows server. So just go back to your Windows server. From the file and storage services here, you can list the disk. The disks are already listed here. This 4 GB and 3.97 GB are the 2 LUNs, iSCSI LUNs, which are created using the NetApp. So it is listed here. So we need to configure this and add it as a map, the driver to the Windows machine. So from the start menu, right click and select the disk management. Here you can see the disks listed here. I have already assigned the disk and named it as LUN 1 and LUN 2, otherwise it will be listed like unassigned. So all we need to do is just right click on the disk, which is the LUN 1, and select online as the option. So right click on the disk and select online. So do the same step for LUN 2 too. So then once it's online, just right click on the disk and initialize disk. Select this option. So we have to do the same for two LUNs to initialize the disk. Then we can create a new symbol volume. Just right click on the LUNs disk 1 and 2 which are listed here. Just right click and create new volume. So it will direct us to a new wizard like this. So just click next and you will see the maximum size of your disk. So I just keep the maximum disk because I want to use the total disk space. So just click next and you can assign the driver letter. Any letters which is not used for your drivers, you can select it from here. So it will be displayed as driver N in my computer. So just select that option and click next. You can format your volume or you can keep the volume like that. So as I'm using a new one, we can format the volume. So I use the default unit size and volume label as new volume. So it will be shown like that. Just tick the perform keep format and click next. It will be all details will be listed here and you can click finish to finish the disk allocation. Once the disk allocated, it's shown like this. You can rename it from here and also go to your my computer. You can see the two LUNs are listed here as two drivers. So just get into this. Total space is 4 GB and you can just create any files and drop it here. Just copy the same thing to the next one. You can copy any files here. Here you can see the total space and the used space. So this is how we connect, configure our iSCSI storage systems and creating LUNs and mapping it to the drivers in a Windows system. So thanks for listening to me. For more details, you can check my blog jimmyjoseph.wordpress.com. Thank you for listening to my video.